So as I've mentioned before on the channel, one of my good mates is actually currently playing for the Dandenong Stingrays team in hopes of making the 2024 AFL draft. Again, I recently made a interview video with him, and I've got a goal kicking video as well, which I'm not too sure if that's going to be coming out at the time of making this video. But again, one of the pleasures of being able to watch Big Charlie is he actually has played with one of the best Dandenong Stingrays teams I think they have ever had. Again, they are stacked with draft talent. You've got a top 5 ranked player in Harvey Langford, who some believe is actually projected to potentially go with the first overall pick. Again, probably more realistic around that 2 to 5 kind of mark. But he also played footy with Richmond's VFL. Again, they've got a guy named Cooper Hines, who's a really good inside midfielder that can push forward and play with really great speed. And he's got such a very good ball winning knack. Again, he's ranked about 10 to 20 on the draft board as well. You've also got Ben Hopkins, who was at one stage ranked to be one of the best mid-season draft players. Again, didn't end up getting picked up for whatever reason. And then you've got Charlie Orchard, my mate, who is, we don't really know. I don't know what he is going to be. Again, there's still a chance he doesn't get drafted, which I'll buy him some KFC to try and make him feel better. And if he does get drafted, hell, he can buy me something from Sexyland or some shit. I don't know. But one other player I didn't mention in that Stingrays team who's around the same mark of Charlie Orchard in terms of will he get drafted or will he not, actually does happen to be Riak Andrew, who is actually the brother of Mac Andrew in the AFL. Now, he actually has a similar story to Charlie, where if you were to, talk about him about a year ago, there is no way he would be even on any AFL scouts radar. Again, he's one of those guys who's become a late bloomer and went from playing some average level footy to playing some really, really good footy that's actually gotten him into a preliminary final in the Coates Talent League. Again, he actually does play down as a key defender, and one thing that's really happened in the last couple of weeks is his stock has dramatically risen to a point where he's almost a certainty now to get drafted just because of the play that he's actually put out on the field. Again, there was a game recently, not the most recent one, where I believe they played against Gippsland, but one where he was actually going up against the Bendigo Pioneers in the wildcard game, and even though he only got 12 disposals, a lot of his defensive effort was actually really, really good. And the thing with Riak Andrew is right now he actually plays key back, right? But the thing is with him, I actually don't know if that's his position. And in some people's case, it might be like, well, if you play key back and you're not necessarily the greatest and you want to look to play elsewhere, it's not going to help your case to get drafted because teams haven't been able to see what you can do in the other spots. But one interesting thing with Riak is he's actually gone into the ruck multiple times for Dandenong this season, specifically in the back line. And as someone who's watched a couple of their games and has first-hand experience on how he actually plays the game, I can tell you right now, I like his ruck craft a lot more than I like him as a backman. I have not seen him lose a ruck contest when he nominates in the back line. Again, I know that might be because he's against key forwards or not genuine ruckman, but we got to remember, if you're playing an AFL team, if it's not the ruckman that's doing the ruck, it's usually the second or backup key forward. The specific and good thing is, I think, for Riak, is if you have him as a key defender and his forward opponent, let's just say he's playing on, Jacob Kazitsky, right? And Jacob Kazitsky goes up and has to play in the ruck while Toby Nankervis is on the bench. The thing is, Riak is going to go into the ruck every time and kill him. Like, he's going to destroy him. And I think that's a really cool thing that he's got under his belt. Again, he's still got a lot of things to improve. We got to remember, this guy is still, if he does get picked up, probably like pick 60 to pick 80, right? Again, this is a deep draft that's going to have a ton of picks in it. I do think he will get selected just because of the raw potential there. And he does remind me of his brother in terms of his brother doesn't quit. If anyone has watched Mac Andrew and how he plays, he's one of the most passionate footballers out there, and he does not quit. And I think Riak is a bit like that as well. If he loses a defensive mark or a one-on-one, cooks an intercept, whatever it might be, this dude gets pissed. You can visibly see it. And even though sometimes it's not necessarily good that a player might not be able to control their emotions or they show it on the field, you know, in this case, I think it's just straight passion, and who cares if a player shows that from time to time. And the thing is, I think if he gets to an AFL team, it's going to be interesting to see where he puts him, because Dandenong have specifically played him as a backman. When his brother was getting drafted, I believe Mac actually played a lot more of his footy as a ruckman for Dandenong. I think he was like 50% ruckman, played a bit of back, played a bit of forward. He's played a lot more position-wise footy than what I think Riak has had to, just because I think Mac Andrew was in such a weaker Dandenong team, it didn't matter. But this Stingrays team that, you know, the Andrew now plays for is a lot more cemented. It's a lot better. It's one of the best Dandenong teams we've ever had, and they've got a prolific backline of himself, you know, Charlie Orchard, Ben Hopkins, a midfield of Cooper Hines and Harvey Langford, and then a really good young and upcoming forward line as well that will probably have draft stock in it, and maybe even a drafted player this year. I wonder if Riak, when he does get into the AFL, if a team looks at him and is like, look, he's an okay backman. He also excels, though, when he is a part-time ruckman. Can we, maybe if we put some more muscle and weight onto him, can we turn him into a ruckman? Or can we maybe have him as another key forward who pinch hits in the ruck? Again, I don't really know how they're going to go about this. It's pretty unique to see backman play ruck. Again, I can't specifically remember what teams in the AFL even do that these days. I know the Tigers had Ben Miller doing it for a bit, but then even he moved up to the forward line at one stage, you know, a couple years ago. If you guys know what team specifically has a backman that goes up and plays ruck, please let me know in the comment section down below, because I think that's pretty unique and nothing's really coming to my head, and I don't know why teams specifically don't do that more. I think it's more so because they want their backline super solidified, and they don't want their best key defenders going in the ruck. Like, that just sounds stupid. But in Riak's case, if he's playing on the second best key forward who's going into the ruck, I wouldn't mind seeing him going up and following. Again, specifically in Dandenong so far, from what I've seen, he only does it in the back, you know, 50. But maybe in the AFL, again, he might specifically go up and follow the player. I'm not exactly too sure. So that's going to be an interesting experiment to see how that goes. All I know is his draft stock is getting higher. His defensive effort has gotten a lot better. His ability to pinch hit in the ruck is really good. And he just looks like a guy who I think in the AFL is going to be able to play multiple different positions. And we've already seen his brother as kind of like the blueprint of what that might actually look like. So again, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment all of your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you guys think about Mac Andrews' brother, Riak? Have you guys watched him play? Where do you think he's going to go in the AFL draft? Or will he be very unlucky not to get selected? Again, I definitely would very much like to know. Subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/vlogging channels as well, which will be getting linked in the description down below. And yeah, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.